everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacey. If you are new here, I am an infidelity coach and I help people who have had an affair. So I'm actually here for the unfaithful. I had an affair several years ago and it was the worst thing I had ever been through. So once I made it through recovery, my passion in life and mission is to help other people who were unfaithful recover, get healed. I mean, healed whole, like, heal all those inner wounds that are causing the behavior of infidelity and that type of thing. So that's why I'm here. If you are in an affair and you need help getting out, then look in the description box below because I will leave all of my information on how you can work one-on-one with me. I offer your first session is free. It's a 30-minute chat and I will help customize a plan just for you. I will assess where you are and then we'll go from there. Okay, so before I get into the video, I just want to give you guys a little update. So my mom is sick and she's been in the hospital, so that's why my videos are coming a little bit later, and that's why there hasn't been any new podcasts yet, because I'm trying to keep up with everything. I have clients, my schedule is full, and I have the podcast and then going back and forth to the hospital. So please forgive me. I haven't forgot about my podcast, and of course I haven't forgot about you guys. I am going, I will pick it back up as soon as I can catch up from, going to the hospital and stuff. So we've been going back and forth since right before Christmas, but she's doing okay now. She's back home. So, prayerfully she will stay doing okay. Okay, now let's get into the video while you're really here. So this video is about 7 hidden consequences of infidelity. I think this is important because, we have our obvious ones. And when you're not having an affair, and other people are having an affair, like when I would hear people that were, having an affair, I was so judgmental and self-righteous. I just judged them and, all of that. And then I wouldn't fool with them or talk to them. And now their reputation is ruined. So there's some obvious consequences that come from an affair, right? There's that my family could be ripped apart. My reputation's going to be ruined. I'm going to, hurt people. There's just some obvious things. But what I have discovered is there's some not so obvious things and some things I wish I would have known before I got into the affair. Now, I will say this, had I known these things, would that have deterred me? I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I'm making this video because if you're even thinking about having an affair, please listen to this because this is real. I struggle with this in my life and I deal with this on a daily basis with my clients. So let's get into what the 7 hidden circumstances of having an affair is. Excuse me. All right, number 1. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is the worst one. It is very hard to get out of the affair. So the affair is very addictive. Getting into the affair seems kind of, easy, like we just fall into in love with this person, or we attach to them really quickly, and now we know them, and we have this extreme connection where we're like, oh my God, you're my person, that type of thing. So that kind of, in the beginning, it's like, yeah, this is good, this is fun, I like this, but no one told me about the pain that I was gonna go through to try to get out of it. It's like a sticky trap or something, you get in it, you get stuck, and it just like grips you and it doesn't want to let you go. And a lot of it is emotional. It's the tug of war, it's the back and forth. I need you today, I don't need you today, I can't do this, I feel guilty, and we're just all over the place. And a lot of times that's where relapse happens. We go back to them. We can't, what happens with relapse is when we're in that withdrawal phase and we hit that danger zone time frame, that's when we are at our most vulnerable to go back. And that keeps us stuck. It's because, a lot of times we really don't know how to progress through the withdrawal phase in the right way. So we just, we don't understand all the emotions that come up with that and all of the questions and what's really motivating us to go back to our affair partner. So then we just jump back into the relationship. So it is extremely hard to get out of one. If you are thinking about getting in one, I would just really say, please don't. Save yourself that heartache, because people talk about your heart is breaking, that type of thing, but I thought of it as my heart is shattered now. Like I felt like my heart was shattered in a million pieces. It was the worst pain I had ever been through, and it's something I never will go through again. Like, no, I hated that pain. And I hated the struggle, because the struggle was just so real. The tug of war inside of me, there was no peace inside, and I just couldn't let go. It's that I can't let go of you. It's that sense, and that is really, really hard. And I will say, if you need help, message me. Let me help you get out. Okay. The next one is the sense of losing one's self. So, when we're having an affair, we're actually betraying ourselves, because all of us inside have value systems, we have morals, we have things that we live by. And when we cross that, we're letting ourselves down. We're betraying ourselves, and we're doing something we know is not right for us to do, but yet we're going to do it anyways. So we're separating who we are in a sense where I'm just going to do what I want to do, what feels good, and I don't care what's right, or I don't care what kind of moral system. Or even if you would think of yourself as, I'm not this type of person, which is something I did. I'm not this type of person to have an affair. I don't do this. What's going on with me? That's sense of I lost myself in you. And in doing all this really stems from us, crossing our boundaries. And then when we connect with this person, a lot of us who are having an affair or have had an affair are people pleasers, and we can be codependent. And with that, then comes the, I'm going to give my all, and I'm going to go against whatever I believe in just to make you happy. And again, we lose ourselves. And when we continually do something that is not our normal, we lose a sense of who we are. And it's hard to regain that, because now not only do we have to learn who we are again, we have to deal with the shame and the guilt, and especially the shame that comes to eat away at our identity even more. The shame is just like, I gotta keep you down. I gotta keep you paralyzed. This is who you are. That you're nothing, you're trash, whatever, that people say about people who had an affair. That's there. So now we have to break through so many things to regain our identity, regain our strength. So it's not worth it. What I'm saying is, the little bit that you feel, the little high, the little fix, it's not worth a lifetime of struggling to find who you are again. Okay, so number 5, withdrawals. Okay, nobody talks about, oh my gosh, when your affair ends, you're going to have triggers. You won't be able to sleep. You will have nightmares. You will have obsessive thoughts. You will have fantasies. You will stalk them like crazy, like a mad person. Nobody tells you this. Nobody told me this. I had no idea that I was going to have nightmares for months after the affair ended, or every time I turned around, I was going to get a trigger and it was going to knock me off my feet for a few days. I had no idea that pain was going to be so excruciating. And the relentless questions: did he love me? Was this real? Does he love his wife? Is he coming back? Could we have made this work? What is he thinking now? Is he okay? Is he missing me as much as I'm missing him? All of those just tormenting questions. It's like, oh my God, how can I get my brain to calm down? And that's a lot of stuff that I went through. I just couldn't get my mind to rest and be at peace. And I see this a lot in my clients. But when we're flirting and somebody's validating us and telling us we're beautiful, we don't care about triggers in the end. We're not thinking about that. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to feel this high I'm getting from you forever. It's like we go off into Cinderella mode, and, we think this is going to last forever for some reason. Okay, so the next one is grief. Now, this grief is, I've talked about this on my channel already. I have a video, talking about grief. from infidelity. It's a little bit different than normal grief, because normal grief, when someone passes away, they're not here any longer. When your affair partner and you and that relationship ends, they're still alive. So grief becomes even stronger, a more powerful force. You know that person's alive. You know you can go to them in a sense where, you know, I still have access to that person. So the grief is very severe, you know, because nobody told me that, you know, with grief, that when I would get to the closure part, okay, let me say this. One of the stages of grief is bargaining. You know, we go through that bargaining, if only. Well, what that looks like for us is, well, if only I could get closure. If only I could have that one last talk. If only we could, you know, have the perfect ending. And that if only is a part of grief. You know, it's closure, but it's also a part of grief. And nobody tells us that. You know, and I get it. Nobody really wants to talk about this because there's a stigma around it. It's shameful. But, you know, you guys know my thoughts on that. You know, feeling is healing. We have to talk about it, you know, to heal it. So just be aware that the grief is very severe, and it's very hard to find someone to help you overcome that grief, because if a person, a counselor, therapist, or something like that, has not actually experienced that pain themselves, like walked in it, like had the affair and walked in it, they don't know how to help you, because they don't know what the steps are to get out of it, because they've just never been there and it looks so different. So know that help is limited. The next one is reality. Who we thought our affair partner was compared to who they really are. So that's a big shocker. A lot of my clients struggle in this area, you know, when we start going through, you know, who this person is. And it's we're not judging. Never in a judgment fashion do we ever judge our affair partner, because then we'd have to judge ourselves too, right? And we're not God, so we don't do that. But we always want, you know, when we're having an affair, we elevate the affair partner into superhero level, meaning we look at them as perfect, can't do any wrong. And that's just not true. There are people who are suffering from wounds as well. They have poor coping mechanisms just like we do. And when we start to see those flaws in them and those wounds in them come out when the affair ends, it's a huge shock, you know. Or if they decide to go back to their wife, that's a huge shock, because how I saw you and what you told me now looks completely different than what you're doing. So that reality now is shining through, you know, into what we created in our mind. You know, we created this ideal person in our head and we wanted them to live up to it, and when they don't, it's a huge shock to us. And it takes us time to process through it, because we have to talk about, you know, what we thought or who we thought they were, and now we have to accept who they really are, in a sense where they're not perfect. They do have wounds, they do have things to learn and to grow. So that's a huge shocker as well. The next one is comparison. Comparison is really difficult when you're trying to recover with your husband. So like if you're reconciling, or even with your wife, if you're reconciling, comparison is huge, and especially in the sex department. You know, it's like, yeah, now I'm comparing, and now I don't know what to do with it. You know, like, how do I get past this comparison? You can get past it. But what I want you to know is, sometimes when you don't know something, it's best to just not know it. You know, when you don't know what it's like to be with other people, then let's just leave it at that. You know, it's that's what it is. Yeah, you will compare. You will compare your spouse on sex, how they treat you, what they wear, if they active, if they don't have any hobbies. I mean, the comparison part will drive anybody crazy. It's a nightmare to get past that, because now I had something that was really good. I got to go back to something that is not bad. And then on top of that was bad, you know, in my opinion, I wasn't enjoying my marriage. So now I got to go back and not enjoy my marriage again, or I have to wait until we get through recovery, and then I can feel the pleasure again. You know, so it's that time period where I'm just not feeling any pleasure right now. I'm kind of numb. I don't like you, and now I'm comparing you, and now we're struggling. So it's a lot. And comparison is a big deal, but you can get through it. So there's hope for that. All right, the last one is the pain of ending the affair will be greater than the excitement in the beginning. And I kind of touched on this about it's very hard to get out of the affair, but it's kind of similar as this one, but the pain at the end of the affair. Now, if your affair goes, through most of the stages and you actually get to the power struggle part, that's where the pain of staying in it gets harder than the pain to leave it. And it's like we stay because we keep looking for that high, we keep looking for that excitement. But as time goes on, we feel more guilty. If you're a Christian, even if you're not a Christian, you're still going to have some form of guilt. But being a Christian, it made me feel like I had even more guilt, because I'm like, you should know better, you shouldn't be doing this. So at the end, it can be really painful, because when people start, when you guys, like, the couple starts to get where, okay, this is getting hard, I'm tired of sneaking around, the excitement is going away, but I can't let you go, so I'm going to stay with you. And then you have on again, off again, on again. And it's just like a yo-yo effect, and it just becomes so heart-wrenching. It's like, I just need to let you go, but I can't. I just want to hold on to you, but I have to let you go. It's like a rope, and somebody's pulling one in, and your hand is burning, and but you still want to hold on for dear life. So know that there's pain at the end of the affair, and that most affairs end. So if you're in a high right now and you're excited and you're in that honeymoon stage, okay, just know that that's not going to last. I don't know how long it would take you to get to the painful part. I have clients who have had an affair for 10 years, and they got to the painful part, and they're like, I just have to get out. I got to get my life back. I got to get myself back. I got to find out who I am. I just don't know me anymore. I want to trust myself again. They just get to that place, and that is a very painful place to be in. So that is my 7 hidden consequences of infidelity. I hope you found this very helpful. For some reason, I'm not able to answer all of my YouTube comments. I'm not sure what's going on. You can still feel free to leave me comments. I try to answer some won't post like when I answer them. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, I'll try to get back to you. If it's, an emergency or something, just feel free to email me. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.